More than 70 million Americans rely on Social Security every single month, and that number continues to grow at an alarming pace. Reports show that over 14,000 people are filing for benefits every day. That's not just a statistic, it's a sign of how worried people are about whether Social Security will even exist for the next generation. With so many new beneficiaries entering the system, the pressure on the trust fund is mounting, and the changes set for 2026 could alter the way millions of Americans plan for their retirement, their income, and even their ability to pay basic bills. So, here's the question. Everyone should be asking, will the Social Security changes in 2026 help seniors keep up with inflation, or will they leave millions struggling to make ends meet? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not only what's happening, but also what lawmakers are considering to keep Social Security afloat. And before we dive in, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and drop your questions in the comments. I go through them personally and make sure you get the answers you deserve. The cost of living adjustment, better known as COLA, is always one of the most talked about changes each year. For 2026, the expected adjustment falls somewhere between 2.7% and 2.9%. That might sound like a modest boost, but here's the problem. Most retirees already know that these increases rarely cover the real rise in expenses. The calculation is based on inflation data from July, August, and September, and by October 15th, the Social Security Administration will announce the exact number. If inflation continues to creep up, we might see the adjustment inch above 3%, but that still won't go far when compared to the rising costs of essentials like food, housing, and healthcare. What really has seniors concerned is Medicare. Medicare premiums are expected to rise again in 2026, and history shows that about half of the COLA increase can get swallowed up by those higher premiums. So imagine you're expecting a bump in your check, only to see half of it disappear to pay for Medicare Part B or D. That's the reality millions will face in 2026. This creates a frustrating cycle. Benefits go up on paper, but real-life purchasing power doesn't move much. And for seniors already living on a fixed income, that's a heavy burden. Another major change coming in 2026 is the full retirement age, or FRA. For those born in 1960 or later, the FRA will officially rise to 67 years old. This marks the final step in a 42-year process that began with the 1983 amendments, which gradually pushed the age higher year after year. For anyone turning 62 today, it may feel like the finish line is being pushed further away, and in many ways, it is. Waiting longer to retire means delaying access to your full benefits, and that's a tough reality for millions who've spent decades paying into the system. What makes this change even more controversial is the ongoing conversation about raising FRA again, this time to 68 or even 69. Lawmakers have floated the idea, but there's strong resistance because each additional year raised cuts a worker's lifetime benefits by about 7%. That's not a small number. It's the difference between maintaining some financial stability or falling into poverty later in life. Advocates argue it's unfair to penalize people, especially those in physically demanding jobs, by making them wait even longer for benefits they've already earned. Still, the debate continues, and 2026 could be the year we see new proposals take shape. Let's talk about the tax limit, often called the wage cap. In 2026, the maximum amount of income subject to Social Security taxes will rise to $183,600, up from $176,100 in 2025. This means higher income workers will pay more into the system, but only up to that limit. Beyond $183,600, income is no longer taxed for Social Security purposes. So while a middle-class worker earning $50,000 pays Social Security tax on every single dollar, someone earning $5 million only pays on the first $183,600. That difference has sparked ongoing debates about fairness. Many lawmakers argue that raising or even eliminating the wage cap could solve some of Social Security's funding problems. Imagine if that limit were $250,000 or even $400,000. That would pour billions into the system each year. But here's the catch. Higher earners and their political allies push back, saying this amounts to raising taxes unfairly on successful workers. Republicans in particular are reluctant to make that move, preferring other solutions. Still, with insolvency looming, the pressure to revisit the wage cap is stronger than ever. For those who continue to work while collecting benefits, the earnings test sets the rules. In 2026, the limit for beneficiaries under full retirement age will rise to $24,360. That means you can earn up to this amount without penalty. But if you earn more, $1 in benefits will be withheld for every $2 earned above the limit. For those reaching full retirement age in 2026, the limit jumps to $64,800 with benefits reduced by $1 for every $3 earned above it. On the surface, this sounds like a penalty, but in reality, any withheld benefits are restored later once you fully retire. This policy reflects a broader push from lawmakers, especially Republicans, who encourage older Americans to keep working. The logic is simple. More people working means more tax revenue and less strain on Social Security. But from the perspective of seniors, it often feels like a punishment. Many are forced to keep working because their checks simply don't cover the cost of living. And while the earnings test is designed to balance work and benefits, it adds confusion and stress to retirement planning, leaving many unsure of whether working longer will help or hurt them financially. Earning work credits is the foundation of Social Security eligibility. By 2025, workers must earn $1,810 in wages to receive one credit and $7,240 to earn the maximum of 4 credits in a year. These numbers increase each year, which means the bar will be set even higher in 2026. To qualify for retirement benefits, a worker needs 40 credits, or roughly 10 years of work. Without them, the Social Security Administration cannot pay benefits, no matter how much you need them. This change particularly impacts part-time workers, low-income earners, and those with intermittent work histories. For example, someone working a seasonal job or balancing caregiving responsibilities may find it harder each year to earn enough for full credits. The rising threshold ensures the system keeps pace with wage growth, but it also risks leaving behind those who need it most. For millions of Americans, these incremental increases are another hurdle to secure a basic retirement benefit. Perhaps the most urgent issue of all is the looming insolvency of the Social Security Trust Fund. As of the latest projections, the fund is expected to run short by 2033, just 7 years from 2026. That means unless Congress acts, every retiree could face an across-the-board benefit cut of around 20%. Imagine suddenly losing 1/5 of your income when you already live paycheck to paycheck. That's the reality on the horizon if no changes are made. Lawmakers are considering several options, but each comes with consequences. Some suggest raising the retirement age again, which directly reduces benefits. Others want to cut expenses by lowering payouts or altering how COLA is calculated, though the proposed changes could actually make insolvency arrive faster. On the other side, Democrats often push for raising the tax cap or finding new revenue streams. The Trump administration has championed tariffs and reshoring jobs as a long-term fix, but those results could take up to 8 years, while the trust fund runs dry in 7. This is the ticking time bomb behind every Social Security debate. The changes set to hit Social Security in 2026 are more than just numbers on a page. They're decisions that will shape the financial future of millions of retirees, workers, and families across America. From modest COLA increases swallowed up by Medicare premiums to a higher retirement age, larger tax caps, stricter work credit requirements, and the looming insolvency crisis, the system is at a turning point. What happens over the next few years will determine whether Social Security remains a lifeline or becomes a broken promise. That's why staying informed is so important. If you're receiving Social Security, planning to file, or even decades away from retirement, these updates matter to you? Please like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and leave your questions in the comments. I'll go through them personally and make sure you get the clarity you need as these changes unfold. Together, we'll stay ahead of every update that impacts your benefits.